Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my official review for the second season of Stranger Things. And spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen the second season of Stranger Things in its entirety, this is going to be my season review for the second season. So if you guys didn't know already, it looks like I was reading some articles online. Stranger Things Season 2 has had over 15 million viewers for the premiere episode, so for the first episode on Netflix, since release. So in the last couple of weeks, over 15 million people have already checked out the Season 2 premiere for Stranger Things. So that really tells you, how big the series is becoming so quickly. This is the biggest series Netflix has ever had, for sure, no question, and definitely for the future of the network. I think it's fantastic that they have this show. Pretty much guaranteed they're going to do a third season. Hasn't been officially announced yet, but maybe I'll do some videos on the Duffer Brothers interviews where they talked about season 3, and yes, they're going to do a season 3. So can't wait to see that. When it will release, we'll have to see. Probably sometime either late 2018, maybe 2019. So forgive me for my appearance here. My hair is a little bit messed up. I've been up late binging Stranger Things late last night. Not sleeping that much because, just couldn't wait to get through the season, man. It was tough because, they drop all these episodes on you. Season 2 has quite a few extended episodes. So even though you have 9 episodes in the season, for Season 2, some of them are like an hour long with no commercials. So it's really like an episode and a half. You really get like a full, great season with Season 2 of Stranger Things. So if you guys didn't see my review last summer for Stranger Things Season 1, I pretty much said that it's the best first season of a TV series that maybe I've seen since the likes of, Walking Dead started, Game of Thrones started, some of the best shows on TV. Its first season just crushed it, and the results show that. If you look at the ratings being at 15 million for the very first episode, which is crazy for Netflix, Season 1 is like the perfect first season. You really can't do just about any better than what they did for Season 1 of Stranger Things. It's just an amazing world set in the 80s, nostalgic for a lot of us who were either born, I was born in the late 80s, but if you're a little bit older than me, then you might know exactly what that time is like, playing video games at the arcade and doing things like that. Michael Jackson, on the tube and the radio, and just a classic time that really is not shown much anymore in movies or TV. So this season continues off with that kind of feel. We have, like I said, the arcade. We have kind of our band of Goonies, or a group of friends, back at it kind of again with Elle, who there was a big question at the end of the first season whether or not Elle was going to survive this type of thing. We just didn't know for sure, but I think a lot of us thought that, yeah, she was going to come back. So we do see that in the premiere for the second season. We do see that Elle is, in fact, still alive, and that we have Hopper who's keeping her safe. So, kind of hiding her away. But then, of course, Mike is not able to see her. Mike doesn't know. He's calling on the radio to see if he can get a hold of her, and kind of seems to be sort of iffy on whether or not she's really there. He's not 100%. He thinks that she is, and he wants to believe that she is, but I guess he's not 100%, convinced for sure that she is still there. So I thought it was a great choice with where they start the season off. You see kind of the Halloween, it brings you back to kind of those times, and also because they released it just around Halloween time, right? So that was really clever, a nice release, Halloween with trick-or-treating and, Ghostbusters costumes, which is awesome because when I was a kid, I actually did have a Ghostbusters costume, pretty much exact. I don't think I had like the trap and stuff like that because I think that was expensive, but I had the basic, costume, and it's just really cool to see kind of that 80s Halloween. You see them all dress up in the Ghostbusters, because that was so big around that time. And there's a lot of Ghostbusters kind of feels this season, especially when, like, near the end, when they kind of get all their gear on, and they're spraying down the place with gasoline, ready to light up the hub, so to speak, where all the demodogs, which I also like, and Dustin was really good this season too. I really like what they did with him and the monster and everything. So the season starts off great. I think it's an awesome start to the season. It's a great feel. It's a great environment. It's a great time, and a really good choice for them, I think, to really set that 80s tone for the series and really have that nostalgic piece in there for us as we go through the season. So it starts off fantastic with Mad Max. We also get the question of the new character, and of course she high scores him, which is that she's a girl, which I remember what that was like exactly. Where like the geeky kids, like I was one of these kids, right? We have an ego when it comes to video games. We have an ego. Like I remember in grade 9 when like I was at school, first day at school in our high school. They had a couple arcade machines. And in grade school, they never had that. Elementary school, they never had any arcade machines. So I was like a geeky kid from my school. But then, of course, there was other schools that came into the high school because it's bigger, and then there was another geeky kid, Asian kid, from Korea, from another school. So it was like we were the geeks from our school, and then they were the geeks from that school, and then we dueled it out in the arcade. It was Marvel vs. Capcom 1. Who do you guys think won? Who do you guys think won? Huh? It was close, but I was able to finish him off with a Venom web finisher, so that's what it is. So we have an ego about us when it comes to video games. And so, you have this girl that comes in that high scores him. Of course, he's instantly impressed. He's like, oh my goodness. Not only did I get high scored, but I got high scored by a girl? Geeky gamers will understand exactly what that feels like. So he's instantly impressed by her, and he kind of, starts to like her as the season goes on. And for the characters this season, I want to say really great progression as we go through. So we'll get to some of my favorite parts, I suppose, at the end of the review. But so that's Chapter 1, Mad Max. You start the season off with that trick or treat, that kind of thing. Then we get into the Pollywog, where you have Dart, which is funny, which is... and Dustin, who I really like everything they did with Dustin this season. Because in the first season, I didn't really care for Dustin that much. I thought he was just kind of this like annoying, kid with the teeth. But this season, they really did some awesome stuff with him. I love at the end how he becomes like Steve's protege, and he's got like the Michael Jackson hair. He's got like like this back hair and everything. And it's just so funny because he's just got like balls at the dance. He's just going up like asking this girl to dance, and she's trying to like ignore him and stuff. So this is really, really funny, man. I really like what they did with him this season. So you got the Pollywog stuff, which was pretty interesting. I thought that was kind of cool because he wants to protect it like it's his little dog or his little pet or something. But or I suppose at first like maybe some kind of like reptile pet. And then of course they find out that he's turning into a Demodog. I thought it was going to be a Demogorgon at first, but as we find out here, which I thought was a good choice, they didn't make all the underling Demo creatures the same as the season 1. The season 1 is kind of like an upright, standing, bigger type of monster. The season 2 monsters, the Demodogs, are more like a pack of wolves, so to speak, that are very deadly. They don't seem to be that impressive when you look at them. They're kind of small, but of course in packs, and you get a couple of them coming up on you, and they're so fast and everything, and they're basically like faces open up like like some kind of alien, creature or something. You can say like maybe aliens is, you see the radar, the boop, 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 as you see them kind of coming through, which was really cool. So it had some alien feels about it too with the creatures. But I did really like what they did with Dustin. I liked Dart and this whole kind of idea. I was feeling pretty good at about this time. Chapter 4, Will the Wise. So we start getting the stuff as well too worked in here these last few episodes and going forward with Will, and he gets mind flayed, or he gets possessed, so to speak. So you have some kind of, I suppose, exorcist type of, that's an old school one as well too, of course, right? Yeah, huge, one of the biggest horror movies of all time, The Exorcist. He kind of gets sci-fi possessed. So you get this Mind Flayer creature, which I also like how they bring it back. Again, very clever to D&D, and their understanding, the kids' understanding of these creatures is kind of, they look at D&D characters and which ones remind them most of the villains or seem to be the most similar to these type of monsters that they're seeing come into the series. So Demogorgon Season 1, this one Demodogs, right, Dustin? And the Mind Flayer. So I really like the stuff with Will this season as well, too. It really had some cool... The spy might be the best part of it, where I kind of saw it coming. It was a bit predictable. I did kind of think that that's what was going on, because you see the title and you think the spy... So you think that, their first level would be, okay, so probably Will is spying... probably... That's the second level, right? The first level would be that you think that Will is able to spy on the Mind Flayer or the creatures, the monsters that are coming in, and kind of give them information so they can fight back against them. But as we see a nice twist in this episode here, which is one of the highlights of the season, I think, for me, is actually that it's a trap, right? He sets up a trap, and he's actually a spy for the Mind Flayer, for the creatures, the monsters in this one, which I thought was a really nice twist. And you could see a little bit, maybe it was a little bit predictable, but very clever and really good stuff. And it was really exciting to see, because then Mike's freaking out and the others are kind of losing it, because they're starting to realize, he's realizing right away that he's a spy, and he knows what that means because he's into the D&D games and stuff like this, and he kind of figures it out right away. So really cool stuff, but very exciting. And definitely one of the highlights of the season for me is that twist. I think that's one of the best things they have in the season. But I like the stuff with Will all the way through. The idea of kind of burning him out because he likes it cold, so heat him out to the point where it's so painful that the Mind Flayer decides to leave him, as he does. And I'm pretty surprised at this point. I thought Will might be killed off at this time in the series. So for me, that's kind of an opposite. Where it's like you think this character's going to be killed off and then they aren't. Which was the same with Steve this season. I actually thought they might kill Steve off a couple times, and they didn't. So it was a twist away from where I thought they might be going with that one. And then there was Bob, who is pretty cool. He was like the Radio Shack guy, and he goes out like a champ, I want to say, and it was a bit predictable. When you see it near the end there, it's like he's just going to get, he's going to be this close, and then he's going to get smoked, and that's pretty much exactly what happens with the broom that falls and that kind of stuff. So really good stuff around there. Dig Dug. So you see the tunnels and that. Hopper gets in trouble, and they have to come in and kind of save him and that kind of stuff. So that was pretty exciting as well, too. And I did like it. In the middle is pretty solid. So now we get closer to the end of the season. We have the Lost Sister with 8 who comes in, and sister of Elle, which is really great stuff, I thought. She goes on her own kind of journey, which is separate from the others. And it's kind of done all in, the one episode. When you're binging it doesn't matter, though, because you're not seeing it week to week and thinking during that episode, oh, man, I want to see the others. No, it's more like, okay, we got to get through this and see what's going to happen in her path. Is she going to be a good guy? Is she going to become full-on bad guy? Is she going to be to the influence of her sister here, who seems to have totally gone down the bad path? What kind of person is she going to become? But you have to have that setup episode in order for her to kind of stroll back in at like the perfect time when they're in maybe, a Night of the Living Dead type of situation where they're inside the house, they're boarding up the windows. That's the feel I got from that, right? And then you have the Demodogs are starting to come in. One gets kind of thrown through the window, and we don't understand, but then we see the door start unlocking itself, and we figure right away it must be Elle. And then you get what is probably, I think, the best part of the whole season, which is the reuniting between Mike and Elle. And I really think that this season, if there's one thing that stands out to me most as the best part of the season, it's their relationship. It's Elle and Mike's relationship together and what happens with him. You get kind of the part earlier where she kind of checks on him. She misinterprets what's happening with him and Max, and she starts to think that maybe he's starting a relationship with another girl. Maybe he's one of these guys, he's got, these girls lined up and stuff. But it's not like that at all, because he's kind of been cold to her and kind of pushing her away, not interested at all, because he's with Elle. And then we see that again kind of at the dance later, where the other guys are kind of going off with different girls, are trying to, and then Mike's just kind of chilling there. Definitely for me, best parts of the season have to be the stuff between Elle and Mike. It's just great to see them kind of back again together. And it's strange, because Stranger Things strange. You wouldn't think that the best part of the season would be romance in this series, right? Based on the type of series that it is. But I think a lot of different creators have figured out at this point the best type of series you can make, whether it be a TV series, movie, what have you. It has to have your different genres. You have to have different elements. You can't have it just be the sci-fi horror. You have to have that nostalgic factor there. You have to have the friendship factor there. And now, as they're starting to kind of begin to come of age, they're still really young, right? So it's not like they're fully developed or anything, but they're just on the cusp. They're just getting started to develop to that point. And with him and her, you see, I think, the most beautiful part of the whole series, in these last couple episodes. They get reunited again. They go to almost share a kiss, but then Hopper calls her away, right? He interrupts. He's like, oh, that's not happening, right? She's my daughter. Get away from her. Well, adopted daughter, I suppose. So he's not into it. But then, the part of the dance at the end, which is beautiful, man. I mean, really, really beautiful. Stands out to me. It overshadows all of the other stuff I think that they were doing with the monsters and that, kind of take a back seat. And all the other kids as well, too, I think, take a back seat to just those two as standouts for pretty much the whole series, and one of the cutest little, youngin' relationships you could pretty much have. So I love that stuff. That was just, for me, was like, my favorite part of the season. Top 2 moments of the season. Number 1 is going to be, it's hard to choose the reuniting or the dance scene. Maybe I go with the dance scene is like the most, because when she walks in and he's like there and stuff, it's just so, that is cute beyond words. You know what I mean? It's just so amazing. So I really love that stuff. Even the music and stuff, time after time, and kind of the ending, the zoom out and everything for the end of the season, and then you kind of flip, and again, just such care taken. They flip, and then as they go under the ground, the upside down, you see that the Mind Flayer monster is still very much alive and seemingly powerful and big, but just closed off with the gate that's been closed through Will's Morse code to tap out the instructions to close the gate for Elle to come into the rescue and save everybody as our Jane or our Jean, so to speak, Phoenix, so to speak, for Stranger Things. So, I love what they did with all the characters this season. Even Lucas and Max's relationship is cute. Max's brother is kind of funny. Even though I didn't really care for the scene with the mom and him. It's kind of a little bit weird, but okay, that's what it is. The scene with his dad, you get kind of some understanding for him and the way he behaves. But, so new characters, bringing them in, pretty good. For me, the top stuff, Elle and Mike. And then, I really like Dustin this season too and what they did with him and kind of him being sort of the outcast, that kind of thing. Then you have what we didn't mention, Nancy and her kind of love triangle that's going on here. They kind of redeemed Steve this season. I thought they might kill him off because he kind of comes in the first season as almost a villain a little bit, at certain parts with John there, Jonathan. But in this season, they redeem him a lot, which I think is really good because then he's a survivor. He's survived on. He's got his he knows what's up. He's got the bat with the nails in it, which is a wise choice against the Demodogs. And now that he's survived, I really like Steve at this point too. They've kind of redeemed him for me, and I like to see. And I also think he's handling it well, that she's kind of moving on with John and that kind of thing, and see what's happening with that. So I think that's most of everything. You got Hopper and Will's mom, Winona Ryder's character, starting to kind of maybe possibly have some kind of relationship in the future, but it's a slow burn. It's they're getting ready for that, I suppose, later on in maybe future seasons. So, like the monster, I thought the monster was pretty good. A nice mix of kind of an overlord type of thing with the possession and then the Demodogs mixed in with the holes and stuff. So it was pretty damn cool. So, all in all, Stranger Things Season 2, amazing. Standouts were really the characters, which is always a great way to go. If your standouts for a season are your character relationships, your character dynamics, that's a great thing. I think that Season 3's premiere will be even bigger than Season 2's. I don't think anybody will be disappointed with Season 2 for Stranger Things. I think everybody that sees it is just going to love it to pieces. All the girls are going to be like, oh my god, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. The guys are going to be like, man, this reminds me of when I was in grade school or something, or I don't know. Just an incredible season for such a standout series. Really just enjoyed the hell out of it. Lost sleep over it, as I'm sure many of you guys have too. And in terms of score, man, this one I've been ripping my hair out trying to figure out, is this season better than Season 1? And maybe that's a topic for a video all in itself. Is Season 1 of Stranger Things better than Season 2, or has Season 2 surpassed it? I just can't decide. I think I gave Season 1 like a 10 out of 10, or pretty much perfect. I'd have to look back because I can't remember, but it's pretty damn close to perfect. I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes, and they have it. Season 2 for Stranger Things is just like a couple points. It's like a 96 or a 94 for Season 2. Like, it's just a little bit lower than maybe Season 1. I don't know if it's fair, because I do feel like in some ways the scale was bigger. You had more monsters, you had more creatures, and you're adding on some cast now. So, oh man, it's just it's so tricky to say. Maybe Season 1 is a perfect season. Maybe Season 2 is really close. In terms of my rating, I'm going to give it, I suppose, so tough, but a 9.7. Only reasons why I would say that maybe I wouldn't give it a perfect 10. There's a few episodes here in the season, like maybe Season 7 with the Lost Sister and stuff like that, that maybe I can't say it's like perfect. 10 is difficult because that's like it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it at all. The ending scene in the series where they flip in the upside down, you still see the Mind Flayer there. I think it's a kind of an ominous ending as what the Duffer Brothers are going for. So it's great, but maybe I would have liked to see a new monster, something additional to kind of tease us for the next season a little bit more. Because the thing is, we've already seen the Mind Flayer the whole season. You had the Demogorgon first season. I don't feel like you should really bring the Mind Flayer back, or at least if you do in Season 3, it'd have to be in a different way. You'd have to have maybe other different monsters involved. You can't really do Mind Flayer again because you've already done it once through this season, I think. So we'll see, unless maybe he possesses Elle or something. Then it'd probably be okay. But to go with their formula right now, I would have liked to maybe see a tease for some other kind of new monster or new villain that would come in. But that said, I mean, it's that this is really minor nitpicking or minor gripes with the season, because it's just so such an amazing series. So I am so glad that Netflix has, greenlit this series, done a couple seasons now, and that we're going to be getting to see a season 3. I can't wait to see it. And if you guys watched all the way through, I hope you liked it. Let me know what you thought about it. What were your feels? How did you feel about the series after seeing the first couple seasons? Leave a comment below. Where is this at for you? Do you think this is one of the best series you've ever seen? I mean, it's crazy to say 2 seasons in, I'm already thinking like this is one of the best series that I've ever seen. I mean, it's really that good. It's one of the best. It's one of the best ever, even after just 2 seasons. So I can't wait to see if they continue this going for a long time, which I hope they will, and it looks like they're probably going to, what this looks like after maybe 5 or 6 seasons. They're really, I think, etching out their own territory and going into a place that pretty much no series has been in before. Very unique and really, really good stuff. So leave the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this review, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you guys for all the support. Please keep supporting the channel, and you do that by thumbing up the videos. I appreciate when you do that. You can share if you've got a Facebook you wouldn't mind sharing through. I would appreciate that as well too. Favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, you want to see reviews for me for Stranger Things Season 3, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, a lot of the best series on TV, then you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this video, guys. We'll see you again soon for another one. Maybe I'll do some more Stranger Things videos this week. Maybe we can go over some of the interviews, stuff like that for the next season, Season 3, and comparing Season 2 to Season 1 in a little bit more detail. So that's it for this one. See you guys again soon for another Stranger Things video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon. Well, I hope you're wearing your subscribing pants.
What?
Your subscribing pants. Because you're going to subscribe to this channel wearing those pants.